Yo, it's Ghosty and welcome back. We've shifted into the new leagues and it's Great League and Electric Cup. And Open Great League is kind of horrific, and Electric Cup, I must say, is not much better. But we decided to give it a try, and this team went pretty well for me, so I thought I would share it with you if anyone else is looking for something to play in the Electric Cup. Yeah, let's dive into the battles. So first up we've got Lanturn in the lead, right? And this is a good lead. You pace to the energy ball at the same time as they reach the surf. So I've built up to it and bait with the lunge, and they've all shielded so far. But I think it is a bit of a risky bait, but we're going to outpace them anyways. Now I know shield that, which is probably a mistake. In following battles, this was right at the beginning when I was kind of still learning the team. But I think it's definitely worth shielding that because Galv is kind of the MVP of this team. They bring in a Pursuing Electrode, and I bring in Minun, and this is a bit of a problem, right? Pursuing Electrode kind of resists everything from everyone except Galv. So yeah, it double resists the electric move, so you definitely want to be throwing the grass moves. We CMP on this next move, they throw the energy ball, and that does a lot. Now Minun was a bit disappointing for me. It's, it's bulky for sure, and the quick attack, isn't resisted by much, which is nice, but it doesn't pace super fast. It's, like Shooting Electrode, if it comes into a low HP something and that it can farm down, it's going to get a huge amount of farm, and then even if the moves are resisted, it threatens everything, right? But Minun, it doesn't get a farm down. It doesn't get as much energy in a farm down because it does more damage. It's just, I felt like its moves were less threatening. I mean, obviously it's great into Lanturn. I try to call, we get wrecked this game. So yeah, Minun is decent. It paces quite quickly. Okay, another Lanturn lead. So it takes 14 turns to get to the energy ball, 12 turns to get to the lunge, and we build up and we bait, and they catch it on a Togedemaru. And I'm thinking in my mind, why would you run Togedemaru if you could run Magnezone with the same typing? So I assume that there's a Magnezone in the back. Either way, I'm going to bring in the Lanturn here because this is kind of my hardest response. Since the quick attacks will be resisted, we're going to shield this. It's almost definitely a wild charge, and we're going to keep our Lanturn healthy. They bring in their Magnezone to attempt to find out. Now it's 3-2 to the Volt switches. The wild charges. So we're going to throw our surf, and if this is a wild charge, if this was a bait, we would have lived to have made it to another move, right? So they don't bait, they bring in their Lanturn immediately to clear their debuff, and their Magnezone is almost dry, right? It just has residual energy. I'm going to farm up a lot now, and there's no point in baiting here because if they're not going to shield their Lanturn. I wasn't sure, I'd lost track of their energy, so I'm scared, so I tried to, if they had a move, catch it on Minun, because I realized that Galv is a bit more important, and I'm just going to go straight discharge here because everything's resisted and discharge is a bit cheaper. Magnezone is super squishy, and they're going to have to throw two moves here, right? And if they throw both their moves, they're empty. My Galv has a move, and we're going to take them out. Well, barely doesn't have a move. I throw the energy ball for absolutely no reason, but it's easily taking them out, and we win this battle. GG's. Going into the next battle, Luxray, and this is obviously a bit of a problem. Galv, because of its bug subtyping, isn't taking super effective damage. It's also tricky because you don't know. We assume it's ground hidden power, but there's no way to tell, right? But they're going to spam off the Psychic Fangs, and I'm going to just swap out. And yeah, Lanturn, this is why Lanturn is not the best safe switch, although you'll see it actually puts in decent work against Pursuing Electrode. He obviously, he knows that my Galv is going to come back in here, so he wants to get as low as possible, and he wants to come out with energy to threaten the Galv. So I make a mistake here. It does do a little bit more damage, and I know they're not shielding, so I think I can, and I do get the farm down. They had like two moves there, so they could easily have taken me out, but they don't. We win switch. But yeah, Thunderbolt is double resisted while Surf is single resisted, so you definitely want to be not throwing electric moves into Pursuing Electrode. They bring in their Galvantula. I'm going to let this go, and Minun's going to come in for a farm down. You know, in hindsight, yeah, I should shield this and farm down. I was scared they get to 2 moves, but you're going to see it does so much damage. And now I have to throw a move here, and now it's just over. I needed 2 moves to throw into the Galv, and yeah, GG's. Next up, another Lanturn lead. I saw, actually in the beginning there was quite a few Lanturn leads, and yeah, this is why we have Lanturn on the team, because obviously, and Minun, we need 2 responses to the rock throw users. And so I wanted Minun to try out Minun for that, even though its quick attack is resisted. And now Grav paces 8 to every rock blast and 11 to the stone edges, so it takes forever to get to moves. And the shadow we can just, you know, take 1 or shield 1 and farm down. They bring in their own Lanturn, and yeah, this is not great because they're going to get a lot of energy, but I'm going to get to a second move here, which is pretty amazing. Now we're going to get them kind of low, and I think I'll just bring in mine, and ooh, it gets them very low. And they give up switch, so this is great, right? We just need to make sure that this does not see our Galv. The rock throws would do insane damage. I'm going to bait here because they kind of have to shield this. And I think, yeah, this has the same moves, or it has Rock Blast and Wild Charge, so it's 8 and probably about 8, I should check. But we throw the Grass Knot, that takes them out, they're on 1 HP. Even if they have 2 surfs, I think we're fine, because they did farm up a lot, but yeah, we're definitely fine. Galv, it does about 40% to a Galv, we'll see, yeah, and we take them out to GG's. Okay, going into the next battle, Galvantula lead, and again, like I said in the intro, I saw this mostly. It was the most common lead by far. And if you're planning on running this team, I would, if you have the option, run a higher attack Galv, because the games where I won CMP were much easier, right? You don't have to, you know, I'm now thinking, I don't want to give up my second shield, I'm going to try and catch this lunge, which also isn't great, right? Because we're just basically throwing away Mon. But they also try and catch, and they bring in an Ampharos, which is running in this cup Brutal Swing Trailblaze. So it's 4-3-3 to the Trailblaze and 3-2-3-2 to the Brutal Swings. They get to 2 Brutal Swings here, and this is kind of worst case, right? They're going to keep switch and give me 0 farm. So I could have thought about maybe undercharging, or, you know, I didn't know this matchup at the time. I thought I could take it. But we're going to come in with our Galv. Now, Galv does about 56% with lunge to another Galv, so that'll easily take me out. So they try and catch a lunge, and now I am debuffed, so they might think to, I'm going to build up back up to the lunge and then bring in my Lanturn. So I know that their Galv is not at a move yet, and so we just have to get rid of this Lanturn and get the shield from the Galv, unless they decide to shield here. Because they might, I'm going to surf here, because even if they reach a surf, it's not going to be threatening. And now I'm going to get to the surf on the Galv. They have to shield this, it does about 50%, I mean 45%. So that's great. They're going to farm up as much as they can, but as long as they don't have 2 moves, which I don't think they built up to 2 moves, right? Because we would have made it to another surf. We have the lunge ready for them, and we take them out. So great game there. Again, Galv lead. Now we're going to play this the same. We'll see MP tie on the first one and see if we win, and we do win. So this is great, right? If you win CMP, we can just stay in here. Even if they do catch on something, depending on what it is, we can just farm back up to a line to it and bring in a hard answer. They're going to hard swap into Graveler. Now, if they had 2 rock throws in the back, they would have swapped earlier. So, and it's also weird because they know that I'm going to have a hard answer to this, but I guess they want to draw out the Lanturn. We're going to make it to another surf here. Now the Graveler, if I haven't said already, paces 8 to every rock blast and 11 to stone edge, so you can massively overfarm with Lanturn in that matchup. Rock blast only does like 20%. They just get to this move, but they don't have another one, so we're going to just let this go, bring in the Galv and hope they don't have a second rock throw, but they do. Oh, but we still had a full Minun and 2 shields, so yeah, that's just completely over. Shiny Galv. And now the one things we know about shinies is their IVs are almost always worse. So the second I saw this, I knew I was losing CMP. Which is fine, right? It's not ideal, but we're going to throw the lunge. And even though ours gets debuffed first, they still have to shield it, right? Because we're gonna, and so yeah, now we're going to catch this on Minun. But I think this is the play that plays so well. They're gonna farm back up to a lunge, and then they, oh no, they throw it. I thought they're gonna catch. Yeah, don't throw this discharge immediately. So now they bring in an amp for us, and they're gonna get a farm down here. But this isn't too bad. I'm gonna get, this is double debuff, but we get the grass knot off. And we just get to this discharge, which is also kind of good, a bit more chip, but they get, you know, quite a farm down. Now I assume they're going to instantly throw Brutal Swing, so I bring in Lanturn because it does a lot to a Galv. Let's find out. Yeah, it does 56% to a Galv, so yeah, we know that they have Trailblaze, so we're going to shield that. They're going to bring in their Lanturn and they make a beautiful catch here, but this is kind of fine. Even though they were empty, I could have formed up a bit more, but we just need to take the shield. And now they're going to be debuffed and they can't swap out, so this is also kind of great. And it's a CMP, and this is kind of amazing, but I think we're just a bit too far behind. Let's see how this plays out, because we will, I mean, we have a lot of energy and we managed to CMP, which is best case. And let's see how much damage this Thunderbolt does. I think it's going to put us too low for us to get to a Thunderbolt. And yeah, a Surf only does like 20%, so I mean 17%, so definitely not enough to take out there. Another Galv lead. This, I mean, at least it's a fast pace and a shielding matchup. It's not like a licky lead mirror. Anyways, exactly the same. We're going to shield. We win CMP, which is awesome. This, yeah, don't let the video fool you. This didn't happen often. I think there was only 2. So even though I won CMP, I'm going to catch this here, which you could argue is very stupid. But I want to save my Galv, and we now have energy, and their Galv does not, right? So the better play is probably for them to farm back up, especially because they have a hard answer in Hisuian Electrode. They don't even overfarm, but you're going to see. This is why I like Hisuian Electrode. He gets like 6 Thunder Shocks to farm down here, and now they have a wild charge. So I'm going to have to bring in my Galv and throw immediately to get rid of this, because obviously this is going to destroy our Lanturn. And now, yeah, I had a few Fury Cutters advantage, so I just throw immediately. And we get rid of it. They have a Lanturn in the back. Kind of throw there. I thought maybe I could make it to a lunge, and now I've just given them a huge energy advantage. We're going to shield the first one because I feel like it's the least likely for them to bait. Now, I don't have the balls to bait here because, you know, them no shielding a Surf just loses us the game. Now, the only advantage we have is we have our Galv to potentially make a catch later. Our switch clock is coming up, so I'm going to throw this. Now, it's kind of hard to count water guns, right? But I was just looking at where my energy was when they reached their move. And now I know they just need to Surf, so I kind of just felt it in my core, but they actually had a Thunderbolt, so my counts were way off, but we still managed to get the catch. And we farmed them down and take that great match. GG's, okay. Hisuian Electrode, this is amazing, right? They're going to swap into a Minun, and I'm just going to debuff this. And yeah, let's see what we do. Lunge does a decent amount here, like 35%. I'm going to bring in my own Minun to the mirror now that after they've been debuffed, and I'm going to overfarm as much as I can here because I don't want their Galv, I mean their Hisuian Electrode to get too much farm. The problem is I need to throw it before they get to another move, and even on this low HP, this is going to be like 10 Thunder Shocks for the Hisuian Electrode, and that's worst case, right? Because now they just come out with 2 wild charges. I have to shield one. I can eat one on Galv, but yeah, we're not gonna. We luckily get to the second grass knot, but it does not do a lot. So I'm gonna just come in here with Galv. We're gonna eat one and have to shield one. But they save it and bring in Luxray, and this is kind of bad, right? I managed to get to this lunge, which is great. This, you know, this basically annihilates Luxray because it's so squishy. And now I'm thinking, you know, Lanturn's kind of dead weight if the Hisuian Electrode comes in because it's already got energy. So I just need to try and get rid of this. I'm probably going to shield this, so because their win con is this. Now I just need to farm down. So definitely worth shielding here. The Hisuian Electrode has a move though, and some. So I'm not going to farm down, which is kind of questionable, but I guess now I keep my shield, and they have to get to 2 moves and we farm them down. So actually very well played, past Ghosty, well done. Another Hisuian Electrode lead. This was also kind of common. They bring in their own Galv, and obviously they have one Fury Cutter behind, so I'm going to throw immediately. And then probably just bring in Minun. Yeah, and we catch the lunge, which obviously is not amazing, debuffing ourselves immediately, but this would do so much damage to our Galv that it's not worth it. Now, at the time, I didn't really know what to throw since they both resisted, but because Galv is so squishy, oh, and we lagged so much there, but it doesn't look like it affected us. Because Galv is so squishy, I think it's worth just throwing discharges. Yeah, PV Poke says you go straight discharge in all shield situations, so we get a shield and they're going to come out with energy, so we're going to come back in with Galv, shield and farm down. But they hard switch lock themselves, and this is a mistake, right? If they kept switch and they have alignment, then it's doing electrodes on our Lanturn and we fucked. So, but yeah, they bring this in, they throw, they're not even going to get to 8, so I don't even have to consider shielding. And what are they going to bring in? They bring in their Hisuian Electrode. Their Galv is super low in the back, so I'm just going to try and, you know, delay the switch time as much as I can so I can get out of here just by throwing surf, and there we go. Now I'm going to shield once because Galv is dry, right? And this does do quite a lot of damage. They try and switch to clear their debuff or catch, I don't know, but it doesn't matter, it just gives us farm, and we're going to take this. So yeah, Hisuian Electrode lead is kind of great, right? Because it does really well into our backline, but really poorly into Galv. So Luxray lead, this is also kind of where we want to see it, because it doesn't really destroy our backline, but when it has shields, it kind of beats everything in the back. Because you don't want to be shielding Psychic Fangs, and then it just starts doing more and more damage. So they crunch and get the debuff, which is kind of worst case. But we're just sacking this here, right? We're going to get a shield, which would be their second shield. Okay, no, they're just going to let it go and bring in their own Galv for a farm down. Do we... I try and commit to the... That was a silly. I should have just thrown the discharge there. Anyways, they have quite a lot of energy here, but we're shield up. So I'm just going to take this. Now, even though we are debuffed, this does about 48%. So, yeah, they kind of have to shield it. Now their shield's down. I could have thought about catching this, but I'd rather just, you know, not permanently debuff. Oh, and they switch out. We get, even though this is double debuffed, we're going to get this energy ball off, and this is going to just put it in such a good position, right? They're now... It's kind of unwinnable for them. All I have to do is make sure I come out of this matchup with energy to outpace the Galv, or just make sure I don't get farmed down, right? I'm going to over farm a lot. I don't want to get too low, so I'm just going to throw this here. The water guns are going to do a lot to the Galv as well, and we are so close to the surf already. And this is easily going to take out. It does about 40%. So, another Hisuian Electrode lead. This is amazing, right? And they're going to stay in, and this is even better. So yeah, if you're the opponent, I mean, I guess maybe they have something else weak in the back, they're going to start investing shields, which is also great. We can let one go, right? It only does about 40% the wild charge, so we're going to definitely shield this next one. But now we're not going to throw immediately because we know that they're going to try and catch, right? So they bring in a rock throw user, and this only does like 18%, it does so little. So now we can just count up to right before they get to 8 and throw the surf. And it, you know, if they shield, this is even better for us. Obviously they won't shield, they're going to bring back in the Hisuian Electrode to try and get some farm. But no, they bring in their own Lanturn to get a huge farm down, which is actually kind of smart. But we're going to get to probably 2 Thunderbolts if they don't throw. And we have switch now, right? So we can just put Minun on this, which is a decent matchup because we have the Grass Knot and we have the good matchup in the back, even though we're so low. the Thunder Shocks do basically nothing. So we're scared they're going to catch. We're just going to overfarm a lot. Make sure that we can outpace the Lanturn. And yeah, just in case I haven't said it before, soon Electrode paces 5 to every wild charge, and I think it's 8 to the energy balls. I'll double check that and put that on screen. And we take that game. So heading into the last few, yeah, here are all the Galv games. I took out a few because, I mean, I wanted to kind of show, not that there is much variety in this cup, there's only like 3 leads. But yeah, another game where we win CMP. This didn't happen often, don't let the video fool you. So yeah, in this game, how I like to play it is, if you win CMP, just, you know, keep CMPing. Let them decide. And then you can always, you know, take a shield advantage or just keep going. Now, they have to catch this or die, right? And so I'm going to just throw it immediately, even though we come out with no energy. That's kind of fine. We double debuff, so we're going to get out of there immediately and just sack our... we don't even sack our Minun because there's shields down. So yeah, this is going to hurt. Maybe even take out because it's shadow. Yeah, this takes out. They've got a Lanturn in the back. And do we make it to a move? Just a discharge, but this is going to be enough to put them into a... Yeah, that's the power of winning CMP, right? Like, we just had that game in a chokehold from the beginning. If they catch, I mean, what can they catch on? They catch a lunge on Lanturn, and then they're just basically sacking Lanturn, which is why it feels so bad to be in that position when you lose CMP. So I haven't quite figured it out. I like to save my Galv and a shield, so I'll CMP the first one, and if we lose, catch the second. But yeah, it's tricky. They bring in an Ampharos right away, and I'm just going to debuff this. Again, they pace 3-2 to the Brutal Swings, and you don't want to eat a Brutal Swing. So because we don't want to shield, I'm just going to bring in Minun. Minun is bulky. It's not as bulky as Lanturn, but it's bulky, right? So we can comfortably eat these moves, and we're just going to be throwing... We're going to get ourselves nice and low, so we don't get farmed down, and we're going to throw this Grass Knot. It's easily going to take out, right? See, even though we get ourselves low there, I should probably have eaten like at least one more Volt Switch, because look how many Thunder Shocks they get. It's not good. Thankfully we're shield up and we can eat one, but yeah, that's why I like doing Electrode. You can get like really nice farm downs on things. I made a huge mistake no shielding that. I've got 2 shields, right? It makes absolutely no sense. So yeah, we lose that game. Skip to the next one. Galv, because this is a shadow, I also assume I'm losing CMP because I've got a really high rank Galv, right? And we do, but it's a shadow Galv, so it's even squishier, and Galv cannot tank a move. So anyways, we're going to do what we always do. We build up and catch on our Minun, and yeah, this, even though it's debuffed because of shadow, it does quite a lot, right? Like 35%. And they're going to bring in... Now this isn't a shadow, so they're going to survive this, and we're debuffed, so they're definitely going to survive this. And they survive it quite nicely and get a huge farm down. And so now I'm just going to bring in Lanturn. There's no ways I'm going to sack my... Because they're getting to 2 moves, right? And they're going to bait, but the bait's going to do so much. Now, there's no point in shielding this because the Galv probably has Energy Ball, which does a lot more. So yeah, I bring this in. I'm assuming they're going to swap out, and I don't want them to catch it, even though it's on a lunge. I mean a Galv, which would be great. So we throw once. They were dry, so I'm going to try and farm up a little bit extra to see if I can get to another move. But the Fury Cutters are doing way more damage than the Thunder Shocks, so I decide I'll just throw and farm on the Electrode. And lunge does about 80%, 75%. So we take that. And that's going to be the video. Thank you so much. Yeah, if you like the video, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.